I am Sankarsh Chanda and I am pursuing my second year in Bachelor's of Technology in Computer Science and the second year. So my startup Savart, SAVART, is an equity investment startup that helps retail investor take informed investment decisions. So we started off very small, and this thought of actually having a platform where people can actually invest into informed and researched decisions actually came up 4 or 5 years back when I first came across an article on Benjamin Graham. So that is when I had my first tryst with investments and stock markets. That interested me a lot and it pulled me into that subject. And as I kept on reading, I'm a book lover, so I've read a lot since then, and this subject is what interests me a lot. What makes stocks move? How do companies work? How do businesses work? And at the age of 16, I published my first book, Financial Nirvana. And at the age of 17, I started writing investment strategies for clients on freelancing sites. That is where the idea to start the business and take it to the retail investors and the masses started. So then came the idea of Savart. We registered our company 1.5 years back, and our main product was to actually build an online and offline platform which could help people invest into mutual funds and stocks, not just as a one-size-fits-all basis, but in a very customized and personalized approach, where we take into account customers' emotions, temperament, character, just like a financial advisor does it daily or monthly with his own customers. He has that personal rapport. But since hiring a financial advisor is pretty costly and it might not be viable for a customer investing 5,000 rupees, we thought, why shouldn't we replace a financial advisor with something that can understand people holistically, just like a human? And that is how the idea of Savart has come up. We analyze everything from a customer's financial status to his location to his emotions and temperament to actually build a customized portfolio for him. This is how Savart builds personalization and makes sure that each rupee that comes into the product and into the market is thoroughly researched and is an informed decision. Our mission is pretty simple: to actually help people invest into uncompromised and quality researched advice, whether they are investing a rupee or a million. This is also reflected in our drive to actually reach out to rural people and rural areas which nobody else has done, to actually give them an opportunity to invest into equity markets which they are not even aware of in most cases. So we want to take care of their finances and their future while they live their passions. That is the vision and the mission that drives us daily. So it's pretty simple. Everybody has certain goals in life, and goals cost money. To have that money in hand and not actually worry about taking loans or borrowing money at a high interest rate, you actually have to start saving and then actually investing. But given that India is a pretty nascent market in terms of its financial understanding and financial literacy, people are still inclined to actually keep their money in, stash away their money into physical instruments like fixed deposit and gold. But people fail to understand that these are asset classes that fail to actually outperform even inflation. So this is where post-demonetization and post-government's push to actually increase the amount of savings into financial instruments has increased, and that is where people are beginning to realize that this is something important. Then they actually need to invest into something like equity markets, and that is the same basis which we are using to actually reach out to people and let them know how important investments are. So you need to compound your money, you need to achieve your goals, and for that, thorough research and a platform like Savart is inevitable. In the beginning, it was pretty difficult to actually raise the money that is required to develop the product. So we had to approach a few investors, but once I had spoken to 2 or 3 investors, I understood how the system works, and there were very slim chances that we were going to make it through, because the idea was pretty nascent and we needed a lot of work to be done. So that is where we started working, and we spent more time actually looking at the nuances of the product. So instead of adding more features and a lot of other stuff that sounded pretty fancy, we actually came up with a product that was simple and more understandable to the people. And that is when we got a first investor who very interestingly is also helping us develop our product. So we got the technology guy, we got the investors in, and that was the first challenge that we were able to scale. And going forward, the next challenge was actually to build a very good team. So talent is everything in today's world. So building the right talent, convincing them that there's potential with this idea and they need to join a young guy sitting in his college was pretty difficult. But in the end, we were able to actually get people from Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, and the topmost investment banks all over the world. And we now have a team of around 12 to 14 people who are working full time with us, and another 20 people who are working part time with us. Mr. Ajay Batra and his team have constantly endeavored to make sure that I have high clarity and a plan before I actually go execute and put money into anything. So that was very important, because otherwise we would actually learn hard lessons that way, where we would lose money, we wouldn't get the desired returns, and then we'd go back to the drawing board. So that those reiterations were actually reduced, the clarity was increased, there was a plan that had to be executed, there was a team that they helped me build, that helped us connect and put the pieces together and make sure that the startup becomes a success. Number one is that investing is not a gamble and it is not a luxury. It is a necessity for people to invest. With inflation as high as 6 to 7%, we need to understand that savings are not going to make it through. It's not going to make the cut. We need to invest into something that gives us better returns. We need to plan for our future. We need to have a retirement corpus. That is when we'll be able to live our passions and our dreams with no financial worries at all. Number two, investing is definitely not difficult and not complicated. It is simple but not easy. So you need to have right people with you, you need to have a right advisor, or you need to devote your own time to actually do personal research before investing into a stock. So it's just like how real estate and the process when you buy a home works. Before you buy a house or before you buy a plot, you do a lot of research. You see how the vicinity is, you see whether there are all facilities, you're going to see whether you're comfortable investing into something like that. It is the same thing with stocks. You need to spend time, you need to do research, you need to talk to people who are in the industry who know that stuff, you need to get in with somebody like Sawat who can actually help guide you and help you take the right decision. So that is why Sawat has an online app with Android and iOS, and also available through a web application www.sawat.in, and we also have offline mode where our people actually go talk to people at their doorstep and clarify doubts and make sure that you make an informed decision before investing into any stock or a mutual fund.